morning, students. Welcome to Dynamic Group of Institution. Yesterday we started the new chapter that is called Moving Charges and Magnetism, and it is also called Magnetic Effect of Electric Current. And yesterday we discussed what is magnetic field and how the magnet will affect the flow of current, and what is the expression for the force which is acting on a moving charge. And today we are going to discuss the expression that is magnetic force on a current carrying conductor. So what is the topic today? Magnetic force on a current carrying a conductor. See here, whenever a conductor, when it is placed in a magnetic field, whenever a conductor when it is placed in a uniform magnetic field, it is going to experience a force. That means whatever the electrons which are present in a conductor, each and every electron is going to experience a force. So that force is called, what is the name of the force? Magnetic force. And see here, there is a conductor having length L, and electron in that conductor, it is moving with velocity, drift velocity is called Vd, and whatever the current which is passing through here is I, the magnetic field is B. Means there is a long straight conductor having length L and making an angle theta with field, and whatever the current that is flowing here is I, and V is the drift velocity. See here, I current drift velocity of an electron L, length of the conductor. What is here? Length of the conductor. So that conductor we kept in a magnetic field B. So what is B indicates? Magnetic field. So already we read yesterday this formula. F equal to QVB sin theta, or we can write it as F equal to Q into V cross B. But here, if it is a conductor, there is not only one electron. We can say that there are more electrons are present in the conductor. So on each and every electron there must be some force. So first I wrote here force on each electron. Same expression only. F equal to Q into V cross B. F equal to Q into V cross B. Q is nothing but magnitude of charge. We can write in same way E only. Vd into V. This is the force acting on each electron. And now the total number of electrons on that, we can say that there are number of electrons are N, and area of cross section A, and L is the length of the conductor. The total free electrons, whatever the total force which is acting on the total free electrons are F equal to NaL into force on each electron. What is the force on each electron? E into Vd cross V into total number of free electrons. That will give the total magnetic force. What we can say? Total magnetic force. That is F equal to N A L, in place of F we are replacing this equation E into Vd cross B. So here N as it is, E, A as it is, just we are interchanging L and Vd. That means we are sending L inside, taking velocity outside. So N E A Vd into L cross B. What is here? Length of the conductor. V means magnetic field. So we are calculating the total force, that is magnetic force on the complete conductor. So we can say that NeAVD, we read in the current electricity chapter. This is called expression for current in terms of drift velocity. In terms of drift velocity. Means in place of N, E, A, B, D, directly we can substitute I here. So what is the final expression of the equation 1 becomes F equal to N, E, A, B, D, that is nothing but current, that is I, into L cross B. So this is the expression for the magnetic force. This is the expression for the magnetic force on a current carrying conductor. So what is the final expression? F equal to I into L cross B. I means current, L means length, B means magnetic field, F means magnetic force. See once again. Here we wrote here F equal to E into VD V cross B. That means on particular one electron, what is the force which is acting is small f. But in a conductor, not only there is no single electron will present, more than single electron are going to be present. So that's why we are considered here NaL. That means it will give total number of electrons in the particular conductor. So NaL into F, in place of F, E into V cross B. Just we are interchanging the terms. The term becomes NeABB into L cross B, and we know that in place of I, that is in place of NeABB, we can directly write the symbol I. What is that? I is called current. So directly we can write final expression F equal to this becomes I into L cross B. So this is the final expression for the magnetic force on a current carrying conductor. Now, special cases on magnetic force on a current carrying conductor. F equal to I into L cross B. What is this L cross B? It is in the form of A cross B. A cross B means cross product A B sin theta. So we can write this as L cross B. L cross B is nothing but LB sin theta. That means F equal to ILB sin theta. So what is the first case? If theta equal to 0 or 180 degree. So whatever the angle between those two is 0 or 180 degree. So sin theta equal to 0 degree implies sin 0 is nothing but 0. So what will be the answer becomes 0. That means force will be minimum. Force will be minimum when parallel to when they are parallel. So hence there is no experience of the force on the conductor because theta equal to 0 or 180 degree indicates that both are parallel. So parallel means 0 degree. Sin 0 becomes 0. What is the force on the conductor will be 0. Now case 2. If theta equal to 90 degree. If theta equal to 90 degree, that means the whatever the current and the magnetic field, the angle between these two is 90 degree conductor. Then if theta equal to 90 degree, again what is the formula? ILB sin theta. F equal to ILB sin theta. Theta value is 90 degree. So sin 90 becomes 1. So F equal to I into LB. I into LB. So means this is called maximum force. Maximum magnetic force which is acting on the conductor. Because when the maximum force will exist, then the theta value is equal to 90 degree. And this magnetic force is determined by the Fleming's left hand rule. What is the name of the rule? It is called Fleming's left hand rule. And whatever the force is, see here. When theta equal to 0 degree, force will be minimum. When theta equal to 90 degree, force will be maximum. And the strength of the magnetic force, on the conductor is determined by the rule is called Fleming's left hand rule. Already you have studied in school level. See here, Fleming's left hand rule. What is the statement of the Fleming's left hand rule is that stretch the 3 fingers of your left hand like this. All the 3 fingers they are must be mutually perpendicular to each other. Then we can say that middle finger. So this is called middle finger. So this finger indicates the direction of the current, and this forefinger indicates the direction of the magnetic field, and whereas this force, that is thumb, indicates the direction of the force. See once again, the middle finger of your left hand side will indicate the direction of the current. Next, the forefinger will indicate the direction of the magnetic field, that is this one, and whereas this thumb indicates the direction of the force. So using this Fleming's left hand rule, we can say here also that F is, we can write like this, I into L cross B. That means this force is perpendicular to L cross B. That means this force, magnetic force, is perpendicular to the plane containing length and magnetic field. So this is called as cross product, and this cross product is always perpendicular to the magnetic force. So this is given by the scientist, and it is determined by the scientist. Name is called Fleming's left hand rule. See once again, middle finger of your left hand side will show the direction of the current. What is the direction of the current? Symbol is I. Next, the direction of the magnetic field is shown by your forefinger. That is magnetic field symbol is B. Next, this thumb will indicate the direction of the force. So these are the special cases we studied regarding the magnetic force whenever the current in a conductor when kept in a magnetic field. So finally we recall once again, F equal to I into L cross B. L cross B is nothing but cross product or vector product of two vectors. Vector product of two vectors, we can say A cross B equal to AB sin theta, and this vector product is minimum when theta equal to 0 degree. When the vector product will be minimum, theta equal to 0 degree. When it is maximum, theta equal to 90 degree. Because sin 0 becomes 0, minimum. Sin 90 becomes 1, it is called maximum. So same situation we have right here. Here theta is parallel, that is parallel. Parallel condition we can say angle becomes 0. Perpendicular, the angle becomes 90. So sin 90 becomes 1, whereas sin 0 becomes 0. So the magnetic force will be minimum. That means there is no force acting on the experienced by the conductor. And here the force is experienced by the conductor. That force will be maximum force. And here no force means minimum force. So these are the two special cases. Now we come. Now we are going to discuss one more topic, that is called Lorentz force. The name of the scientist, Lorentz. He gave an expression, mathematical expression for force when a charged particle it is experienced by the combination of both electric and magnetic field. Let us suppose a charge Q. That charge is moving with velocity v, and on that charge, if it is applied, if you apply both electric as well as the magnetic field, then what will be going to be happening? So the total force experienced by a charged particle moving in a region where both electric and magnetic fields are present. So electric field is also present as well as magnetic field is also present. So that is called which force? Lorentz force. So F, that is total force, is equal to Fe plus Fp. So E means electric field, B means magnetic field. This is called electric force. This is called magnetic force. Or we can say that the force due to electric field, force due to magnetic field. So the sum of the electric field force plus the sum of the magnetic force, that will give the total Lorentz force. So in first chapter, that is on electric charge chapter, we studied that on the charged particle, the force experienced by the electric field, applying the electric field is F equal to Q into E. And in previous sessions we studied that QVB sin theta. This is the force when we apply magnetic field, and this is the force when we apply the electric field. So we are replacing these two equations here. Fe, the force acting on the electric field, that is electric force, that is Q into E, plus magnetic force Q into V cross B. So adding these two, we can say that the total force is called Lorentz force. That is the sum of electric as well as the magnetic force. So if you want, see here, F vector form Q into E plus Q into V cross B. Next. Now, case 1. Case 1. If V, E, B, V, E, B are parallel, V, E, B are parallel, then what will be the angle? Theta equal to 0 degree. So what will be the expression becomes? F equal to Q into E plus Q into V cross B. That means QE as it is, Q as it is, V cross B means VB sin theta. So what will be the angle here? 0 degree means sin 0 becomes 0 degree. So complete term will become 0. So sin 0 becomes 0. So what is the final expression? F equal to Q into E. Now if V, E, B are perpendicular, means theta value 90 degree. What is the angle here? 90 degree. Again F becomes Q into E plus Q into V cross B. So Q into E plus Q into V cross B becomes VB sin 90 degree. So what is the final equation now? F equals to Q into E plus sin 90 becomes 1. You can say that Q into V to B. So this is the total force when V, E, B are perpendicular, whereas this is the total force when V, E, B are parallel. So these are the two special cases regarding the Lorentz force. So this Lorentz is explained when the charged particle, if we apply both electric as well as magnetic field. So F equal to Fe plus Fb. So you can remember this equation, and this is for 2 marks, and this expression is going to be asked for 1 mark as well as special cases. F equal to QE. This QE regarding the electric field, Q into V cross B due to magnetic force, and when parallel the force becomes QE, that is only due to electric field, where theta equal to 90 degree, that is in case 2, if theta equal to 90 degree, then both electric as well as magnetic force will exist after Lorentz force. Now we are going to derive the expression for velocity selector. That means same situation here. There is a particle, charged particle Q is moving with velocity V along the x-axis. For that charged particle, we apply both electric field as well as the magnetic field, whereas the electric field is applied along the y-axis, whereas the magnetic field is applied along the z-axis. I, J, K are the unit vectors. What is meant by unit vector? A vector whose magnitude is 1 is called unit vector. So I vector is along x-axis, J vector is along y-axis, K vector is along z-axis. So electric field is along y-axis, magnetic field is along z-axis, whereas the particle is moving along the x-axis. So we can write in terms of vector V, velocity vector symbol equal to V into what is the unit vector here? I. E, electric field E equal to E into J, because it is moving along which axis? Y axis. Like that, similarly, B, magnetic field equal to B into K. So this is along X axis, this is along Y axis, whereas this is along Z axis. This is along X, Y as well as Z. So now we are going to discuss the force due to electric field and force due to magnetic field on the particular charge. See here, force experienced by the electric field on the particular charge Q. The force experienced by the electric field is how much? F equal to Q into E. What is Q? Magnitude of the charge. How much we are applying the electric field is E. So E is in vector notation. So in place of E vector, we are writing E into J. So that is equation number 1. Now for the same charge particle, magnetic field, we are applying the magnetic field is also. So the force experienced by the magnetic field of the charge is given by F equal to Q into E cross B. What is Q? Charge, magnitude. V, velocity. B is magnetic field. So where is this V? V equal to E into I, whereas B equal to B into K. So these two values we are substituting here. So in place of V, V into I. In place of B, V into K. So take this V and V outside. So what will be the answer? F equal to QVB into I cross K. So here in place of I cross K, we will written here minus J. Why this? How it will came means we should go through the rules of cross product. That is I cross I, J cross J, K cross K becomes 0. What is the first identity of cross product? Cross product. I cross I equal to 0, J cross J equal to 0, K cross K equal to 0. Now, second property, I cross J equal to K. That means we are following cyclic process. I x axis, J y axis, K be the answer that is along the Z axis. So I cross J equal to K, then J cross K equal to I. Y, Z, answer is X. Similarly, K cross I. K cross I. What will be the answer? J. See once again, I, J, K. Take modulus here. We are going to write I, J, K. So I is along which axis? X axis. This is Y axis. This is Z axis. So I cross J answer is K. That means cyclic. I cross J. J cross K. Then again we are coming to I. I cross J equal to K. J cross K equal to I. K cross I equal to J. Then if you reverse the order, that means J cross I. J cross I becomes negative sign. That is answer becomes minus K. Similarly, K cross J becomes minus I. Again, I cross K becomes minus J. I cross J, K. If you reverse the order, J cross I, answer is minus K. J cross K equal to I. So K cross J becomes minus I. Then K cross I equal to J. So I cross K equal to minus J. So it was minus J. So this is the force due to magnetic field, that is equation number 2, and this is the force due to electric field. So both forces acting on the particle in equal magnitude and opposite direction. So now we are going to consider only the magnitude. These two. This is due to electric force, this is due to magnetic force. Both forces are applied equally in magnitude but opposite in direction. So only comparing the magnitudes here we can write Q into E. This is due to electric field, and Q into V into D. That is due to magnetic field. So we want velocity selector. What is meant by velocity selector? We are choosing a charged particle, particularly a charged particle. For that we are calculating the velocity. So the QQ will going to be cancelled. So what will be the answer becomes V equal to E divided by D. So this is the final expression for velocity selector. That means we choose only a single particle, single charged particle. For that charged particle, we are calculating the velocity. And what is the answer? Mathematical expression for the velocity selector is V equal to E divided by D. E means electric field by magnetic field. So this is called the expression for velocity selector. Next topic, magnetic field due to a current element. The name of the scientist, Biot-Savart. He introduced the law. It's called Biot-Savart's law. He explains the magnetic field due to a current element. See here, whenever the current passing through a conductor, it is always going to produce as a magnetic field. That magnetic field we are going to calculate. And let us consider this a conductor X, Y, and the current passing through this is I. And in that conductor having length L, and in total conductor we have chosen little bit portion. So that is called current element. That is the product of current and small length I into dl. And we kept a point P at a distance R from this current element at a distance R. So at that point we are going to calculate the magnetic field due to this current. See here once again, a conductor. What is the name of the conductor? XY. How much the current is flowing? I. And at what point we should calculate the magnetic field is P. And this point is at a distance R. And there will be angle is created between this dl, that is current element, as well as this R distance, or we can say position vector. And product of this I into dl is called current element. So according to Biot-Savart's law, or we can say Laplace law, this magnetic field, that is dV, according to Savart's law, this magnetic field, that is dV, is directly proportional to I. What is I? Strength of current. Next, this is directly proportional to dl, that is current element, and this is directly proportional to sine of the angle between this current element as well as this position vector, and the inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Inversely proportional to square of the distance. See once again, the magnetic field produced by this current element, that is directly proportional to I. That is how much the current is flowing through that one, that is the strength of the current, and the length called current element, the small element, and the angle, which angle is sine of the angle between this current element as well as this R, and it is inversely proportional to square of the distance. So these three are directly proportional, and one that R is inversely proportional. So combining these four equations, equation number 1, 2, 3 and 4. Equation number 1, dV directly proportional to I, dV directly proportional to dl, dV proportional to sin theta, dV inversely proportional to R square. So if you combine these four equations, we can write it as dV proportional to I dl sin theta divided by R square. So directly proportional terms we have written on the numerator, and the inversely proportional term came to denominator. So dB proportional to IDL sin theta by r square. If you write some constant that is called k, k is called constant of proportionality, and this IDL sin theta divided by r square. So for free space, the k value becomes mu naught by 4 pi. K value becomes mu naught by 4 pi, and implies where this mu naught value, mu naught by 4 pi becomes k. If you substitute in place of k mu naught by 4 pi, so this becomes dB equal to mu naught by 4 pi into IDL sin theta divided by r square. So this is the final expression for the magnetic field due to small current element dl, and where the current I is passing through the conductor xy, and that conductor is placed at a distance r from the point P. For on that point we calculated the magnetic field. So dB equal to mu naught by 4 pi into IDL sin theta by r square. This is the final expression for Weierstrass's law. And see here once again, magnetic field is directly proportional to strength of the current. Magnetic field is directly proportional to length, small element. We can say directly these two are called current element. This magnetic field is directly proportional to sine of the angle. Where the angle is created between again this current element as well as this r value. Directly proportional to sine theta, inversely proportional to r square. Combining these equations, we wrote dB proportional to IDL sin theta by r square. If you remove this proportionality constant, we can write the constant as k. K is called constant of proportionality, and that k is nothing but mu naught by 4 pi. Whereas in electric field, we are going to write as k equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon. Yes, in Coulomb's law, that is in first chapter, in place of k, we are going to write 1 by 4 pi epsilon. This is called permittivity of free space, whereas this is called permeability. Where the magnetic term will come, there permeability. Where the electric force that will come, that we can write as permittivity. So this is called permeability of free space. So what is the value of permeability value? 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. So next, what is the final expression of dB equal to mu naught by 4 pi into IDL sin theta by r square.
Based on velocity selector, in previous exam, that is 2020, that means in the just last year, he asked a 2 marks problem. See the question. In a region, an electric field E equal to 5 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton per Coulomb, and a magnetic field of B 0.1 Tesla is applied. A beam of charged particles are projected along x direction. Find the velocity of the charged particles which move undeflected in the crossed field. See here once again, electric field. Here J cap, magnetic field K cap, and the particle is moving along x direction. That means E, electric field, is applying along the y axis, magnetic field is applying along the z axis, and the particle is moving along the x direction. So what is the question mark here? Velocity. Solution. Given, what is the value of E? Equal to 5 into 10 to the power of 3 unit vector j cap, unit is Newton per Coulomb, whereas the magnetic field value is B. What is the value of magnetic field value? B equal to 0.1 K cap into Tesla. So what is the question mark? Find the velocity. What is the question mark? Find the velocity. So V equal to question mark. So what is the velocity selector formula? V equal to E divided by B. What is E? Electric field. What is B? Magnetic field. What is V? Velocity. E 5 into 10 to the power of 3 by B 0.1. Substituted the value. E equal to 5 into 10 to the power of 3, B 0.1, then V equal to 5 into 10 to the power of 3 by 0.1, we can write it as 1 by 10. 0.1, we can write it as 1 by 10, and this 10 goes to numerator. So what will be the answer now? 5 into 10 to the power of 3 into 10 to the power of 1. So V equal to 5 into 10 to the power of 4 meter per second. So this is a simple problem which is asked in previous question. So see here, formula V equal to E by B. E means electric field, B means magnetic field, 5 into 10 to the power of 3 by 0.1. So 0.1, we can write it as 1 by 10. So that 10 goes to numerator. That means 10 power, already plus 3 is there, 10 power 1 is there, 3 plus 1 becomes 4. So what is the velocity of the charged particle? 5 into 10 to the power of 4 meter per second, and that particle is moving along which direction? X direction. So this is the solution.
Now we are going to discuss special cases on Biot-Savart's law. So what is the final expression? dV equal to mu naught by 4 pi into I dl sin theta by r. So here theta is the angle. So based on the angle we are going to discuss the special cases. Case 1, if theta equal to 0. So see the diagram like this. So this theta value is 0. That means the point P is lies on the axis. That means there is no angle between this dl as well as r. So theta equal to 0. If you substitute theta value 0 here, sin 0 becomes 0. So what will be the magnetic field here? 0. Right? Theta value is 0, sin 0 becomes 0. So the whatever the total magnetic field when the point is on the axis will be 0. Now go to case 2. If theta equal to 90 degree, that means the angle between the dl as well as r is 90 degree, then we can write dv equal to mu naught by 4 pi into I dl sin 90 degree divided by r square. So sin 90 value is 1. So we can say that dv equal to mu naught by 4 pi into I dl divided by r. So maximum magnetic field is going to be produced when it is at an angle of 90 degree. Minimum magnetic field is going to be produced at an angle 0. Maximum magnetic field is producing when it is at an angle 90 degree. So this mathematical expression, Biot-Savart's law, we can express in vector form like this. See here, it is a position vector dl cross r into I divided by r cube into mu naught by 4 pi, which is equal to dv. So this expression, it is going to be asked for 1 mark. What is the 5x? What is the expression? dv equal to mu naught by 4 pi into I, correct, dl, length, small element, into r divided by r. So this is the mathematical expression for Biot-Savart's law in vector form. Now there are some similarities. There are some similarities between Coulomb's law and Biot-Savart's law. Coulomb's law we studied in first chapter regarding the force of attraction or repulsion between the two charges. Similarly, this law and we are comparing with Biot-Savart's law. See here, both obey inverse square law. That means Coulomb's law is also obey inverse square law, as well as Biot-Savart's law is also obey inverse square law. And both fields, that is both fields obey, that is what is the fields, both electric as well as magnetic field, both are going to be obey the principle of superposition. What does the principle of superposition say? That the total sum of the electric field, the total electric field is equal to sum of the individual electric fields. Like that we already studied in first chapter. So that is called principle of superposition. See once again, both obeys inverse square law. That is the first similarity between Coulomb's law as well as Biot-Savart's law. And second similarity is that both fields obey, electric as well as magnetic fields obey the principle of superposition. So on that, today we are completing this session, and tomorrow we are going to discuss the main important derivation called magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor on the axis of a circular coil. My dear students, today we discuss magnetic force on a current carrying a conductor, and as well as Lorentz force, as well as Biot-Savart's law, and the mathematical expression and the special cases, as well as the similarities between Biot-Savart's law as well as the Coulomb's law. So tomorrow discussion, that means next discussion, we are going to derive the derivation for the magnetic field due to a current carrying circular coil in the next topic.